we are back with another video, and this time it's on N8N. It's not on Cloud Code. What I want to do is in N8N today, I had a use case earlier on today in my job where we were running some campaigns on paid marketing, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to automate the first sales email. So what happens is a lot of times the sales representatives they miss out reaching out to the clients on time. Even the slightest of delays in that process really can cause you to lose clients. So what you want to do naturally is just to reach out as soon as possible within minutes, so that the client is active, they receive your email, and the call is booked. That's the goal, right? What if you can also enrich the person who is reaching out to you, enrich their company, and then reach out to them with a very personalized email? In that case, I suggest, I believe that the chances of positive reply is going to be much higher. So for that purpose, what I did was I built this editing workflow where what we're doing is we have this. It starts off from your Gmail trigger, where as soon as an email drops on your uh, email address, which in this case is my company account, uh, the workflow will be triggered, right? You can see that the credentials are set. You can set up your credentials from here in an attempt. You'll just have to enter your client ID, client secret. You can build that out from Google Cloud Console. Once that's built out, you'll add your credentials here, and we can move forward. Here you'll be adding the polling time. What is polling time? It's basically how what is the refresh rate, right? How many times will it be triggered within a specified amount of time? So you wanted to check your email inbox every minute, right? So we set that over here. The event is message received, and the sender you need to specify from where you'll be receiving these emails. So for us, it was our company email address. It was info@aerojet.com, and I ran a test, and it gave me the results. So you can see that the email response came in this snippet format, like the name, the email address, the phone number, and everything was all within one text box. You don't want that when you're actually running a workflow. So what I needed to do next was I needed to break it down. I needed to break that snippet into chunks so that I can process it further. So what we did was we used this code snippet in JavaScript. We created this code. By the way, all the code is being created by Cloud, right? I'm not a coder. I don't know how to write code. So I just tell Claude what to do, what I need to do in this node, and it does it for me. So it built me this raw JSON snippet. I pasted here and it worked. So we have name, email address, phone, company, and message, right? And this was also very important because we needed to do the enrichment on the basis of email address and company. So for that reason, we had to split it up. Once split it up, what happens next? So for in my use case, we have this condition that the verified the company email addresses, the work email, they can be enriched. They can be used for enrichment purposes. But if the email addresses of Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo, usually the databases, the verified email databases, they don't have those as verified emails. So there's no point in enriching those contacts. I want to send all of those contacts which have Yahoo, uh, Gmail, or Hotmail in their emails to be just directly sent to the AI writing agent. But in case of leads which are coming from a company who are credible enough that the person reaching out has its own work email, in that case, I want to put in a condition here that if the email contains Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo or Hotmail, you pass it to the true branch. Otherwise, it will belong to the false branch where from whereby I can send the data to another group. Okay, so let's assume the data was in the false branch. It was let's just make it uh, the false branch data. Let's go here. Uh, we pinned the data so that we don't have to send out an email to trigger this workflow every time. I'll simply go here, I'll edit the data here, and I'll just update the URL, update the email address to autogenai.com. So now it becomes a work email. Okay. Now when we'll run this, it's supposed to go in the false node. Okay. I'm not running it right now, so otherwise this workflow will also be triggered. Let me just show you what we're doing here though. So once the data is sent to the, in fact, let me do this. Let us run it till here. Let's run this. It does take a while. Yes. So when it runs, it then passes the data to the code in JavaScript. We execute this. Oh, it's saying there is a problem. Let's run the whole workflow. Yeah, okay. So you can see that it went ahead with the if node in the false direction, false branch. What's happening here? So what we are doing here is we are enriching the company as well as the person, right? So I had the email address of the person. The email address had the name of the company as well, and I also have the name of the company in my lead form. So what is happening here is we connected Blitz API for the company level enrichment. For company level enrichment, what is necessary is usually these databases they enrich companies based on the LinkedIn profiles of those companies. So what we did was we used the domain to LinkedIn enrichment URL. We connected the API. We configured the HTTP node. I don't think we need to go into that much detail. I will probably touch upon it in the end if need be. But nonetheless, we use the domain to LinkedIn URL. You can find this URL right here. You can see this is the documentation of Blitz API, and you can see here enrich a company, and you have a post request for LinkedIn URL to domain. What it does is and domain to LinkedIn URL. So what it does is it looks up the domain, and based on that domain, it looks up the LinkedIn URL and provides that. So I got the LinkedIn URL from this. I passed it the email address, and it broke down the email address into two parts and extracted the second part for autogenai.com. And based on that, it ran the enrichment. Now, once I have the LinkedIn URL, it passes that to the next branch, next node, which is for company enrichment. And here, what we're doing is we are simply enriching the company based on the LinkedIn URL we fetched from the previous Blitz API enrichment. And you can see here it provided me all the data for AutoGen AI from their LinkedIn profile. See, LinkedIn profile, their LinkedIn ID, their name, about their specialties, brand writing, artificial intelligence, their industry, type, size, everything. I've got in the data. The data that needs that an SDR actually needs before they can send out the first email, make it more personalized, make it seem that you have researched the company. So that's the purpose here. Similarly, or simultaneously, what's happening is I've also passed down the email address to another platform, which is AI Arc. I've used AI Arc for that purpose. It's similar to Blitz API, but I believe the coverage of AI Arc is much better than with much better than any other, in fact, platform instead of Blitz API and any other platform. So AI Arc, I would definitely recommend you guys to check it out. You can go to their documentation as well to find this specific URL, post URL for reverse lookup. So what reverse lookups does is it fetches a email address if you have the verified email of your client, especially used in inbound um, cases where you have the email address but you need to enrich the account further. So I have the email address here. I need to look up the person on LinkedIn and find out every detail about them. So what happened is I created the authentication. I authenticated the account. The HTTP was set up, and we pass it on some just the email address, right? We just pass it on the email address and executed it. Based on that, it brought me everything. You can see the first name, last name, full name, headline, title, their source, then their LinkedIn URL, their location, their language, their education, certifications, all the data points that an AI agent can simply use to formulate a very, very personalized email that your SDR can just simply send out, right? So that is like the best approach. What we did next was we merged the company enrichment and the person enrichment because we want to provide a unified view, or the data needs to be sent together in one go to the AI agent. What we did was we merged both of these enrichment, from the company level enrichment and the person enrichment. We use the combine mode, and we combine by the position so that we have it set up one by one. You have company, and then you have profile level data, right? We have all the data now in one place, but this is all also in separate items. What we need to do before we send it out to the agent is to combine that into a string format so that the AI agent can read all of that data together with some context and then proceed, right? Okay, so we also have to account for some edge cases here. For example, I found the email address, but the email address was not probably present in the database of AI Arc. In that case, AI Arc is going to return me an error, right here. I don't want that error to stop the whole workflow. I still want the agent to produce the personalized email, even if it cannot find a person level enrichment. And simultaneously, in the same case, if the Blitz API does not cannot find the company level details, I still don't want the workflow to be cut off, right? So what is happening here is we have put in a setting here that allows the workflow to still run if there is an error, right? On error, we have selected continue so that it simply continues even if it does not return any data, right? So in case it does not return any data, what happens then is we have put in an if condition. What is happening in the if condition? There is a field in the merge column, it's called found, right? Found true. So what we are doing is that, in fact, the field exists in the Blitz API enrichment. So, for example, when Blitz API returns a record, it also tells you, it comes back with a field called found, and it marks it as true. So we simply use that condition that if in this node the found field was true, then return true. Okay, that's a very simple filter. So if it's true, that means the company level enrichment is there and we can move forward by providing it to the AI agent. But in case we don't have the person level enrichment, we cannot handle that in the if statement. So instead, what we did was, here in this code snippet, we accounted for that here, that in case the AI arc enrichment returns null or there is no data, you then account for this and does not break the workflow. Okay, so this is being dealt here, and here what we are essentially doing is we are making the data readable in a string format for the AI agent. And in case it does not find any of it, there is no enrichment level data found, we'll simply route it back to the AI agent, which is enriching the data for non-work email leads, right? Basically, this is not that personalized sort of approach. This is the personalized AI agent approach. Okay, so we pass it over here in case we don't find any data here. And then lastly, once you have stringified it, we call the AI agent finally, and we give it all the context. We provided the task. All you need to know about the company, person, and the company is stored here. And based on the data received, write an engaging email that shows authority and real interest in the company through smartly mentioning skills from the company research. Give them a quick overview about Airway Tech and inquire about further details and get them to book a call with us using my available time slots from cal.com. Okay, this was the task. Message is basically the task you wanted to achieve, and then the system message is actually where you are defining the whole persona and the personality of the agent itself. So you give it the persona that way, you are Daniel Sanakwi, you are the head of business development. You work at this company, headquarter here. What's your persona like? Maybe you are a sharp, personable, and commercially minded person. Your company offerings. Then there are some details about the task. You will receive a structured input containing lead detail, company enrichment data, person enrichment data, and using this, write a personalized first response email, and then you provide the structure whatever you like. Then there are certain rules that you want to set. Maybe, for example, the word count, some buzzwords that you don't want it to use, and then never mention enrichment tools that you have used, and any other details that you might want to fill in. And I also provided my booking link. And then lastly, what you need to configure is your meeting link, which in my case I have used cal.com, uh, so that it makes it much more easier for the prospect to book a call directly, and also make my email more personalized by actually pitching in some available time slots. So you simply connect the API of cal.com similar to how you connect the Blitz API and AI Arc credentials. So you connect cal.com in your N8N account, and based on that you give it certain parameters. You have to give it a username and then the value. This is your basically this username of your event type from cal.com. Just pick it up from there, and you can, by the way, ask Claude AI or Claude Code to just do all of this for you. And then you provide the event type slug. My slug was 30 minutes. The start time and the end time. All of that data is being provided here. So these are some pre-configured points that you need to add. The headers and the parameters you will be provided these by cal.com itself, or you can ask simply from Claude that what parameters I need to provide it. It will tell you right away. So once you have provided that, it will reference your calendar and then pitch in some available time slots. So in my case, you can simply read the email that it generated and how personalized it is. See, construction ERP and Shopify Plus integration. Hi Jennifer, thanks for reaching out, helping companies bridge the gap between commercialized construction ERPs and Shopify Plus is right in our wheelhouse. Airtech is a 20-year-old digital transformation partner backed by the Airway Group, supporting enterprise clients globally across North America, the Middle East, and the Asia. With Autogen's AI's rapid growth in the generative AI space, I'm sure you are looking for a scalable architecture that keeps pace with your expansion. Given your expertise in revenue operations, we can focus on ensuring the ERP integration provides a clean, actionable data your team needs to stay efficient. So you see that the personalization that it has created is super natural. It's coming off pretty nicely. We often use Microsoft Dynamics or NetSuite to solve these types of multi-channel challenges. Are you free for a brief call next week to explore this? You can find a time on my calendar here, and it has attached a link to it and then the regards. So you can see how natural it is, how like it feels like it was written by a human who knows the company, who has researched about our company, like the client's company, and how personal it feels, right? So that is the goal here, to make the client heard, make the client feel that you have made the research, you have made the effort to, go one step ahead, actually do the research and reach out to them within minutes. So that's how I think we can maximize the positive response rates, because a lot of times the inbound leads usually get missed. They, in case you delay the reach out times, maybe even by an hour, because they are also reaching out to multiple other vendors. You need to be on top of their mind. And at the last end, what you're just simply doing is you are asking N8N to create a draft for you to just simply review and send you, right? So the code snippet broke it down to subject and body and to name. Okay, these four fields, it was broken down by the code snippet before this. And again, you just simply need to tell Claude that hey, the email that you generated, it was not formatted properly. Formatted in a way that I can use for to create an email draft directly in Gmail. So it will break it down into subject, body, the email address for the recipient, and true name is also if you want to use it. I don't want to. So here finally what you're doing is you are using the draft resource. The operation is create. Subject line can be pulled in from here. Similarly, it's a textual email. The message is the body, and then I want to send to this email, this person. And in CC, if you want to keep anyone, you can. I've kept my pre-sales group email. And just to show you how it actually looks like, this is the final email it actually created for me. Yeah, you can see here. So it has all the email already pre-configured. The subject line is here, perfect. Name is here, personalized. The email is well formatted, all good. It's ready to send just by adding my signature here, and we are good. So yeah, so this is pretty much it from this workflow for creating a personalized sales agent that sends out personalized emails, well researched emails to your clients, your inbound clients within minutes.